We talk all the time about being low-end card sellers, but what if I was to tell you that that's not the only thing you should be selling? Yo, YouTube, I got an exciting new video for you here. Today we're going to talk about why just selling low-end cards really isn't enough and what we should be doing to make sure that we can continue our business. And also, we have a whole bunch of sales from yesterday. One stack here going to a buyer plus a higher end card in there on topic. And then this is the regular stack of sales. And then I also have these, which was a single order. So I kept those separate. So let's go ahead and have this talk and I'll show you some of the sales. Yes, low-end card sales is the bread and butter of the dollar box. But there are plenty of other cards that I sell that are not low-end cards. And we're going to show that in this very first example of a card that I sold here for $350. Doesn't look like much, but it's a pretty rare SSP photo variation, whatever you want to call it, from 2008 tops. This is Brett on the lawn tractor in the Packers gear. There's two versions of this. You can see it's got the blacked out box on the back. There is a version where he's on Jets. He has Jets equipment on, and it says Jets on the top. And then, of course, there's the regular base card that everyone sees. The Jets cards are actually serial numbered to 500. These are not serial numbered, but it's presumed there's a lot less than 500. You very rarely see this card. Now, I bought this card at a pretty good discount. There's a little bit of a crimp mark on the top of the card. Nothing that drastically takes away from it, and the card is so rare that it can still be sold, of course. And I did notate the issue in the title as well as the description on this card. But anyway, I paid about $75, I think, for this card, and I sold it for $350. So these are great ways to get chunks of money at a time. You need to have sales like this as well as the low-end cards to make it worth all your effort. Now, the other key thing with a card like this is it's not an instant sell. I wanted to max my profit on it. So I'd had this listed for probably about 2 years. So you have to be willing to kind of, sit around with these cards, have some capital in them, let them ride until you get the right buyer for it, which I did. And also, this has to go through eBay authentication. So I have to send it to an eBay address. Essentially, you don't do anything different. You print the label, pack it really well, and send it out to an eBay authenticator's address, and then they forward it to the final customer. So why is it important to sell all kinds of different price levels of cards? Because there's all kinds of different customers, and some customers even want, depending on how they collect, they might want some higher end, more rare, more expensive cards, as well as fill in collections and stuff with some lower end cards. So I don't think you want to alienate anyone from being a customer of yours. Now, that's two different styles of buying and selling, and you really have to try to find a mix to do this. It's taken me a long time to really sort that out and be able to play both sides. So basically, with your low-end cards, you're looking for bulk, you're looking for pennies on the dollar, you want high margin percentages, whereas the higher dollar cards, you don't really need to do that. You just need to have a percentage in there where because the dollars are bigger, you can make just as much money selling a big pile of low-end cards as you can one higher dollar card. There is a difference in trying to find customers too, so we'll talk about that next. All right, so right back to our low-end cards. Next sale here is $2.50, well, 49 cents. This Ken Griffey Jr. Upper Deck card. I think this is SP, yeah, SP. I would have got this out of a 50-cent box at the National based on where it was in the inventory with some other Griffey stuff. So not a bad return there. And that would have been a 50-cent box. I probably paid like 35 cents for it. So finding your low-end customers is, in a way, a bit easier than finding the more rare, higher-end card buyers because there's just more of them. So low-end collectors, there's really not as much limitation to them buying cards as there is somebody looking for a specific card. more rare, expensive. So finding buyers of low-end cards is a little bit different than something higher end. With low-end cards, you basically list them, you offer discounts, you try to get eyes on your cards, and they generally will sell themselves. Versus the more rare cards, you got to find somebody who's looking to buy that specific card. You might have to take it to different shows, put it on different websites, whatever the case may be. Now, if it's something that's rare and also hot, like a Paul Skeens 101 rookie auto right now, there's probably enough buyers where you can just throw it on auction and get a good price and be done with it. But if it's an older card, a lesser known player, things like that, that might not be the best option. All right, so just to keep the mix going, this might be considered more of a mid-end or a high-low end card. This card sold for $7.19. I was asking, I think, $10 for it. It's a Steph Curry 2014-15 Excalibur basketball card. I do believe I got it out of a quarter or 50-cent box. I did get it pretty cheap. Might have been a dollar box before discount. But anyway, so this is kind of the in-between of the high end and the low end. And you need sales in this area as well. Now, the mid-end cards are great, or the high-low-end cards, whatever you want to call them, because it brings somebody to your store. That's a card that would attract them in, and then you have all your other cards to offer. Offering coupons and giving additional discounts based on quantity purchased will help get additional sales and help you move a lot of those low-end cards that you have hardly any capital into. High margins, small dollar amounts. So you need that quantity of sales. We have our first vintage here, and this is probably where you can see the biggest difference between super low end and super high end. I mean, the record for a card sale is a mantle, 52 mantle PSA 10, I think was 12.5 million, something like that. You can get a little bit more poor quality versions of those cards a lot cheaper, and consequently you can get commons or semi-commons. They made cards of nearly every player back then. There was a lot of set collecting and team collecting that dominated the hobby. This here is Steve Bartkowski from 1976 Topps. In okay condition, good condition, I guess I would call it. It's got some rounded corners, a little bit of some flaking, things like that. But otherwise, no creases, in decent shape. And this card sold for $2.50. I think many resellers start with low-end cards because you have them laying around, you could get them really inexpensively, you got a collection, your uncle gave you some cards. Whatever the case may be, it's just easier to get a hold of and get started. And then as you sell more and more, you start to evolve and get cards that maybe you pay a little bit more for and aren't as good a margin, but you're getting bigger amounts of money. Max sales back on that low end there. We've got a Pro Set music card of Simple Minds, and this sold for $1.99. So let me try to answer that question that I get pretty regularly. When you hit your 60,000 max listings in your current eBay store, are you going to switch to mid-end cards or high-end cards? And the answer to that is yes and no. I don't think I would ever totally get out of low-end cards. They're fun to sell, they're easy to obtain, there's plenty of buyers, the margins are fantastic, and I have good experience in it and a solid amount of inventory. It's not really the type of cards where you can just take 60,000, 70,000 cards and just put them out there at full retail and get them all sold in one day. So what I'll be doing is I'll be looking for more mid-end cards as I'm buying more lots of more mid-end cards, things like that, and continuing to recognize the deals on low-end cards when they happen and continue to make those deals. Next card is a card I got in a dime box. It's Henry Ruggs III. He's sitting in prison, so I don't think he'll ever have much of a career. But this pink Hot Routes Phoenix parallel, which is numbered out of 199, you can see up there. And I got this out of a dime box. And the reason I would buy a card, like people would say, well, why would you buy a card like that? He can't even play. Because people know who he was. He was a good, high draft choice. He had something terrible happen in his life that unfortunately cost him his career and his freedom. But Nice card, serial number, easily worth the 10 cents that I paid for it, and I found a buyer at $3.99. So that brings up the question to step forward from there would be, are you going into high-end cards? I don't know that I would ever do that. I don't enjoy those types of negotiations. I watch the videos just like all of you do, where it's back and forth, and I got to be at this, and I need to sell that to this guy in order to get this card, and I don't enjoy that as much. I like dealing with the end buyer who wants something for their collection, and that for the most part, that's going to be mid to low end cards. And I want to continue to service that part of the market. The only thing I like selling more than cards I got really cheap are cards I got for free. I got big piles of these Brewers Police cards a year ago, and I just sold another one. This Trevor Hoffman sold for $1.99. All profit. So I've established that I'm probably just not a high-end card seller and don't really look forward to becoming one. So I'm going to stay in that mid-end to low-end tier. I will definitely be throwing in some more rare, higher-end type cards, $500-$600 cards here and there as I see fit and the budget allows as reinvestment occurs from the store profits. But I still think stuff like Slick Rick here is the types of things that I will enjoy selling for a very long time. They're very obtainable. I can get them at a very really good price. I enjoy the negotiations on the low end cards, and the sales channels are a little bit more fluid, in my opinion, as opposed to trying to find a buyer for a more expensive card. I don't know why, but I often find Drew Brees cards pretty cheap. Doesn't seem to have as much of a market anymore for some reason. I mean, the guy had a lot of records, great career, Hall of Fame. You know, all those good things are happening for him. So, but I found this throwback to 1991 Topps card from 2005 Topps in the old Chargers uniform here where he was drafted, and that sold for $2.50. So now it's your turn. I want to hear from you. Do you like selling low-end cards? Do you sell mid-end cards? Do you sell high-end cards? Is your goal to get to high-end cards and just sell through low-end cards to get the money to get there? Leave a comment down below. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, consider doing that. Give it a thumbs up if you like the video. Share it to someone else you think might enjoy it. And let's continue on with some more sales. The Starline cards continue to be good sales for me. This is a John Travolta card. It sold for $3.50. So what selling mix is right for you? Well, that's something you have to decide. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to it. I do believe that you have to mix it up a little bit. I think selling all $1 cards is a tough way to make a go of it. And I think trying to sell $10,000 to $20,000 cards is a tough way to go at it too if you don't have the right connections and the right places to be and can afford the upfront cost of a lot of that. So figure it out for yourself. What works for you? What cards do you enjoy selling? What cards do you enjoy buying? And go from there. And of course, it wouldn't be a sales day without a Brett Favre card sale. So here is a 2000 Metal Universe card, just the base, sold for $1.99. So that's all I've got for the topic in this video. I do, however, have a lot more sales to ship out. So let's do a few more of those, and then we'll call this one. All right, so the next one is another Starline sale, a big sale for this order. 22 different cards for $43.78. We have Joanne Woodward. We have Eddie Albert. See Eddie there. We've got Orson Welles. Red Buttons. Rosemary Clooney. Jim Backus. Ava Gabor. Joan Fontaine. Zsa Zsa Gabor. Buddy Ebsen. The Scatman Brothers. Ava Gardner. Janet Leigh. Helen Reddy. Anthony Quinn. Kenny Rogers. George Papard. Tim Conway. He was funny. I loved him. Burgess Meredith, Farley Granger, and last but not least, Roddy McDowell. Next is a 35 card order dominated by Derek Jeter, sold to a regular customer of mine for $103.65. Got this Jeter here, Jeter Hot Prospects, some Tops, here's some Heritage, another Tops, Tops 50th Anniversary, Tops Magazine. This one's really cool. I got that out of the dealer box at the National. Here's some, what is this one? Goodwin. And then also some other players in here too. Eddie George, got a few of those. 97 Topps Chrome. Some All-Stott, you got a Fleer Mystique there. Summit rookie, silver foil, Marvin Harrison. An Alex Rodriguez Pinnacle rookie. Here's a Mike All-Stott wired insert from Upper Deck. It's a really cool insert set. Eddie George Archives replica rookie. Jeter RBI, league leader foil, a Gaudy, and then there's an order of another pile of Gaudis later on here. Another Tops. It's another Tops opening day. Upper Deck first pitch. Another Tops. Top season opener. Pacific Collection. Tops World Series champ. Pacific, the headshot version. Slick Rick from UMTV Wraps. Here's the rest of those Derek Jeter Gaudis. A Kent Tekulve Sport Kings. 99 SP Eddie George. A 99 Finest Eddie George. An actual 96 Topps rookie Eddie George. Stadium Club rookie Eddie George. And last but not least, we got one Favre card in here. Press Pass Legends Brett Favre. So 35 cards for $103.65. The one great thing about buying big lots or collections and not knowing what's in it and taking a chance is you get sales on surprise cards like this Dan McGuire Hot Rookies score insert from 1991, I think. Obviously, Dan McGuire didn't work out. Really cool looking, totally 90s type insert. He was a high draft pick, and someone bought it for $1.99. Parallels are always great regardless of the player. I sold this George Kittle pink. I do like the pink Elites. The card design is so clean that the pink looks really nice on them. And this one sold for $2.99. We got our first look at 2024 football products this year with these Halloween cards. I love them. 3-card packs, $22 for a big package of them. You get a bunch of different packs in there. And there's 2 different styles. There's bats on the border and there's pumpkins on the border. This happens to be a bats version of Bo Jackson, and it sold for $2.99. Every once in a while, I'll have a card where I think I can get a little bit more for it, and it just doesn't work out that way, and I end up eventually taking an offer for a little less just to move it. That's the case here with this open field playoff hologram mini card from 1996 of Thurman Thomas. Thurman Thomas, not a huge market, but there is a big Bills market, and usually I can get his stuff moved to a Bills collector. This one sold for $2.50. Without a doubt, the sale of the day yesterday was all these Ooshies cards to a buyer. Bunch of Batmans, bunch of Reverse Flash, the limited edition Black Adam ones, which are gold, some Catwoman, some Superman. So sold a whole bunch of these. It ended up being like 83 cards total for $166, basically $2 a card. If you remember, I was buying these for $1 a pack plus rebate at Menards and bought a ton of them. You get 2 foils, 3 base cards, and a little squishy figure in each pack. I've sold a couple of sets of the little squishy figures as well. So this was a good sale. He bought all my reverse flash foils, all my Batman, like classic, I think is what this is. Oh, Silver Age Batmans. A few of the Catwomans, a few of the Clark Kents, and then all of the Black Adams. So big sale. I definitely have a lot of cards left to sell. I actually still have some foils left to list. So we should be able to make pretty good money out of those in the end. But it was nice to have one big sale to a customer. Next, we have an order from a new customer. This is a 20 card order for $69.80. Did not sell with promotion. As you notice, most of my orders on this day did not sell through promotion, so I'm getting more and more just regular customer buys, which is good, saves you on the fees. But anyway, they said a bunch of Griffey, some Ripken, Bonds, stuff like that. First one is this 92 Leaf Griffey. Metallized Najee Harris, the copper parallel out of Skybox. Bowman Griffey. Star Quest Upper Deck Insert Griffey. 93 Stadium Club Griffey. 91 Stadium Club, the members. Oh, AL All-Star card. This Topps card with Andy Van Slyke. A Diamond Kings, the Artist Proof parallel. There's that Barry Bonds, 92 Fleer Ultra Base. This Fleer 95 card, it's got Tony Gwynn on one side and Griffey on the other. Collector's Choice, this 3 shots of Griffey's swing there. Post 93 Post Serial. Barry Sanders, a 94 Pacific Barry Sanders. Score Griffey, the caricature one with the big head. Ripken, this is 84 Topps. 92 Ultra Griffey. 90 Donruss Diamond Kings Griffey. Select Stars. I always like these cards. Griffey. An 85 Topps Ripken, and then last but not least, a 92 Fleer Provisions. As you know, I bought a huge stack of those at the National, 50 cents a piece. I passed on a few of them because I had like 30 copies of the card, and I'm like, how many of these do I need? And I shouldn't have because they've been selling really well. So sometimes I have to learn that lesson over and over too. But the National, there's so much stuff you're picking up that you just have to make some decisions on, do I want all of it or do I want some of it? I thought maybe I made a mistake buying all the just base set cards of the Goonies, and that has not been the case at all. They've been selling very, very well. So even though I bought lots of multiples copies, like 50 copies of one card, it doesn't matter. I've sold a few in quantity, and then the rest just kind of keep getting sales here and there on those. So you may be noticing in this video, I don't have that many orders, but they're a lot bigger multi-card orders. And that's exactly what I was shooting for. I don't want to have a bunch of single card orders going out as much as I used to. Now that I have a lot of inventory, I want those to go out in as big a chunks as possible. But I do have a single card order here. It's for this Joe Montana 2016 Elite. And it sold for $4.25. All right, next we've got a 14 card order that sold for $39.86. We have another one of those Score Halloween cards here. We've got Chop Robinson, the orange pumpkin border version there. A Bill Miller, Sports Illustrated for Kids. Sander Bogarts, Allen and Ginter, the black. Star View insert for Nomar Garciaparra. Rick Burleson card. This is from 1977. Want to get more vintage baseball commons. That's one of my goals for future pickups. Nomar Garciaparra, Upper Deck Encore. Got a huge stack of those out of one of my box buyouts. This cool Dominion, what do they call this? Double play card. It's got Pedro Martinez on this side and Randy Johnson on that side. A Smoke and Heat Roger Clemens. As you know, I got a bunch of those sets for free. So still making money off of those. Sander Bogarts from Top Fire. This top shortstop card, it's got Nomar, Jeter, and A-Rod on there. High voltage Randy Moss from Pacific Vanguard. Nat Moore, 1982 Topps. Football, of course, and then this SP memorable. What is this? Memorable matchups. I like the design of this card. Papelbon and Derek Jeter. It just flows nice. It's got some nice shine to it. It's a cool looking card. And then a Brett Favre 1999 Upper Deck live wires insert. So again, 14 cards, 39.86. Another police card sold. This is a football one this time. This is Mark Tauscher for the Packers, of course, and that's sold for $1.79. Sold a nice Favre insert here. This Frenzy card out of 1997 playoff. Yep, it sold for $9.99. We got our first Star Wars card sale here. This Empire Strikes Back from 1980. It says Duel of the Lightsabers, and it's got Vader and Luke on there. And that sold for $2.99. Another vintage football sale here. This is from 1974 Topps. And this is, who is this? Jack Gregory for the Giants. And it sold for $4.99. All right, we're almost done. We've got this little stack left. Let me know what you think of this video. Do you like these kind of videos where I go over a little bit of instruction as to my strategy, as well as some of the sales that actually occurred? Or is there another series you would like to see, or something else you would like to see covered in video? I'm getting a little bit more time now. I've got more things organized. Things are going faster with the scanning of virtually any type of card can be scanned now, other than Shiny and Chrome. So yeah, I'd like to hear from you. What other kind of videos would you like to see? And I'd be happy to make them. Got another 1982 Topps football sale here. This is Freeman McNeil for the Jets. It's kind of funny because I bought a big lot of 1982 commons. It was like 800 cards for $10 or something a long time ago, and they sat forever. I hardly sold any cards. And then within the last year or two, I've been selling quite a few of them. Obviously, some of the stars sold right away, but all the commons just kind of sat. So I'm happy to see these going. And this sold for $2.99. Another multi-card order here. This one is 11 cards for $43.89. So I've got this Press Pass SE Matt Stafford rookie, if you want to call it that. Edgerrin James Bowman Best rookie. SPX Excitement from Torrey Holtz rookie year there. And Isaac Bruce Topps rookie. Edgerrin James Star rookie Encore. Turkey Red Tom Brady. EX 2000 Reggie White. Topps Brady base there. This is Upper Deck Vintage Tom Brady. 2004 Topps Tom Brady. And an '08, I think it's '08, '07 Artifacts, Upper Deck Artifacts. So those 11 cards sold for $43.89. Another vintage football. This is 1965 Philadelphia Gum, and it is the Washington Redskins football team, the entire team photo card there, and that sold for $3. Got a buyer who bought 3 cards here. The first one is a One-Eyed Willie from the Goonies base cards, $3.59. The other one is John Hammond, of course, the scientist from Jurassic Park, for $2.99. And the last one is this card of this mug from The Rocketeer. I've never seen the movie, so I don't really know who he is. And that's sold for $1.99. And last but not least, we have a single Brady card sale here from 2018 Absolute. And this sold for $4. And that's gonna do it. I have a couple more orders that I gotta pull yet, but I gotta get out to the post office and do some running. And I ran out of 6x9 envelopes. I'm gonna have to pick some of those up. I didn't know I was on my last ones. Supplies. Those are a key to success for sure. But again, thank you all for so much for watching. I appreciate all of you. And remember, you can't sell what you don't list. We'll see you soon.